welcome to episode 10 of Bad Dad's Film Reviews.
Point of fact, I have now 2020 is season 2, so we're now on episode 3, I think.
Okay, so season 2, episode 3. Wow.
Possibly 4.
Or maybe 4. The professionalism. So, yeah, thanks.
Hang on, we're in a second season?
Meeg, I think you're still on season 1, to be honest.
I am, definitely. How do we make it season 2?
Because when we upload them, it asks for season and episode. It's optional, but I thought as we've moved into the new year, I would go for season 2.
All right, so season 2, episode 3 or 4.
Then it would make it sound like we're really professional.
Yeah, it's working.
apart from the content.
So it's Reeks, hi, Sidey,
hello,
and Anonymous Meeg,
Bye.
the man of mystery.
I am fucking amped for this week because it was a great nomination, film-wise.
Okay.
Just to make that absolutely clear.
Well, why don't we...
A couple of points to clear up before we get going.
Yes.
We have a couple of top 5s to nail.
Okay, what top 5s are they, Sidey?
We didn't finish the top... Or we didn't announce who was nominated for the top 5 birds.
Okay.
Who was it? You didn't mention it before.
Kevin from Up.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good shout. He's a decent bird.
Yeah.
Tits aren't very good.
Terrible tits, but...
Terrible tits, good bird.
But good in the bird sense.
And we also had asked for Worst Parents.
Yes.
We had a couple of nominations. I think we were going to go with the case that was put forward.
Yeah.
Which was...
Well, the best 2 nominations were the mum from Uncle Buck and the crack parent, or the heroin parent junkies from Trainspotting. Now, I feel there's a bit of disagreement amongst the bad dads. Who do you think, Sidey, is the worst?
Well, I agree that the Uncle Buck was just an annoying character, whereas the Smackhead parents obviously were fundamentally bad.
Yeah.
It's just that the voting,
Yeah.
the better case was put forward, the more reasoned argument. The other one was just the Smackheads, the other one was they actually
Put forward the good case.
So I feel that on the basis of people interaction, that should be who we go for.
Okay, well, how do you feel about that, Meeg?
They let their child die.
Who,
Yeah.
Uncle Buck's parents?
Yeah.
Right. So there you go. Thanks, listener. I think we're going with Uncle Buck. Well, but the mum from Uncle Buck, not Uncle Buck himself, who turned out to be good. Spoiler alert.
New top 5.
Yep.
This week, we decided we're going to talk about not films themselves, but their soundtracks.
Amazing. Something a bit different.
Yeah.
I'm amped for this because when I started thinking about it, I came up with loads.
Yeah. I've got quite a few.
Yeah.
Meeg?
Since when did you start using the word amped?
I just chucked it in before because I think that's what young people might say.
I
I could say psyched. I'm
You don't
psyched
use-
for it.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know how to spell that, so if I want to use it as a status update.
Rad? Does
I like
anybody
rad.
say rad anymore?
Yeah, I do. I say
Yeah.
rad quite a lot.
Rad.
In any case,
Rad Dad.
Top 5 rad soundtracks.
so I'm going to shoot from the hip.
Go for it.
Right out the gate.
Yeah.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Yeah, I've got that as well.
It's a
Amazing.
fucking masterpiece. And just to prove it, I actually went out and bought this one.
Yeah, I've got it as well.
Yeah, so
Now, the interesting thing, because it's so
fucking
good.
brilliant.
I mean, the main
The
tune...
only good bit is the main tune.
no.
Well, what's the rest of it then?
There's a great
Why
little
haven't I
solo
heard
guitar bit. You know the guy that sold his soul and he was a great...
Yeah, yeah.
He does a solo song and it's fucking brilliant.
C6 Steve or something.
No. He's the guy who sold his soul to the devil to play mean guitar.
Yeah.
And also it's got Harry McClintock's Big Rock Candy Mountain, but
Yeah.
most of it was an original... So the interesting thing about this is, of course, the Coen brothers
Yeah.
doing everything in a completely amazing way. So the soundtrack was completely conceived as a major component of the film, not merely as like a supporting or background sort of. It's supposed to be a character in the film. And they actually decided to record the soundtrack before filming so that they had it, access to the musical journey of the film all the way through.
Soggy Bottom Boys, isn't it?
Soggy Bottom Boys, Alison Krauss, Down to the River and Pray, Keep on the Sunny Side, great tunes.
And this blew up, this soundtrack. It was a
Yeah.
big hit.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
was Frozen too. Probably more so. Or Frozen.
So you, well, do you want to talk
Well, it
about that?
probably did have more numbers, yeah. You're right.
It's a pretty good soundtrack as well. Frozen's a good soundtrack, Frozen 2. I've
But
heard it enough.
the Soggy Bottom Boys tune was cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen this film?
Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking hell.
That's a
Good
really
call.
good film.
Kudos to you.
That's like right up there in my top
Probably
films.
top...
10?
Well, I was going to say top 3
Wow.
Coen brother films.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
think
Wait,
about
so
it.
you're punting for Frozen?
No, I just don't think it's that great. I think there's better soundtracks out there.
Okay.
Well, this is
hit
your
me up.
chance to tell us what you think.
Frozen.
Yeah.
Okay. I've listened to that a lot, and it is pretty good. And Frozen 2.
La La La. Are we talking about the whole soundtrack, so we're just looking for like standout cool
Well,
tunes?
I'm personally thinking about the whole soundtrack.
Me too, but
Otherwise, it's just one-hit wonders, most of them.
So most of the Disney musicals then are going to smash the pants up of.
yeah. Well, I've got Lion King down here. Elton John,
big Elton fan.
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer frame, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is a really good soundtrack that complements the movie beautifully and has some really good songs in it as well.
Yeah, La La Land.
Yeah, I've just listened to that non-stop for about the last
2 of the
4 or 5
songs off the
days.
soundtrack were Oscar nominated on that one.
Dun, dun, dun,
And
dun,
one
dun, dun, dun,
won
dun,
it, didn't
dun,
it?
dun,
Really?
dun.
Which ones?
Well, I think City of Stars won, and then the other one where she sang in her audition, that was also nominated.
The Lady Gaga one was 10 times better.
Star is Born?
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that either, and I probably
I mean,
will.
is that your nomination next time round?
Maybe, I don't know. I do want to see it.
Really good.
Yeah,
I like a bit of
and the soundtrack's good.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah,
innit?
yeah, amazing. It's
I
like,
mean, this is your opportunity to talk about the soundtrack in any kind of detail.
it's like Eddie Vedder.
Oh, here we go. Is it?
It's a little bit. It's like a sort of country Eddie Vedder that Bradley Cooper plays.
Right.
Lady Gaga being his kind of Courtney Love, I think, maybe.
Well, on that set, I put down one that I thought that you would like, that I did really like at the time. I put this down especially for you, Meeg.
Oh, it's
So
like
it would-
Transformers or something.
No, it's Singles. Remember that? The
Oh, what a fucking
90s
soundtrack, yeah.
movie, and it had a really
What?
good
I don't know
grunge
this.
soundtrack. Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains,
Spoonman.
Mudhoney,
Oh, no, honestly.
Temple of
What
the
film is
Dogs,
this? I don't
Stone
even know
Temple
about this.
Pilots. It's a
Stone
sort of
Temple Pilots went on
rom-com
that, but
thing
yeah,
set in.
Mudhoney.
With all that music in it?
Yeah, yeah.
The soundtrack was just off the Richter scale.
It was really good and was, a central component of my youth.
Yeah, indeed. It was a CD that got bought and was worthy of being bought.
Yeah.
Never watched the film.
What was the
But
name of the dude from
soundtrack
Stone
was
Temple
top
Pilots? Scott.
Lanes. Oh, Scott Weiland. He's
Yeah.
dead now, I
Yeah,
think.
he died, yeah.
And then the other
And
guy's
so
dead as
Lane
well from
Staley's
Alice in
dead as well.
Chains. Lane Staley. Yeah.
So all of the songs that were on there were different. They weren't on a.
So they were written
weren't on
specifically
an-
for the film. They
Yeah.
weren't just
They
okay.
weren't on a band's.
So it wasn't a
album or
greatest
anything
hits,
like that.
in effect.
No.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it was really good. There you go.
There was obviously then a similar, although they weren't written for the film, but Trainspotting was like pretty ubiquitous.
Got that
90s.
down here as well. Yeah.
I didn't write it down for my list because I didn't particularly like it.
Oh, really?
No.
What, the movie?
No, the soundtrack.
The
It was just too
soundtrack's-
many. Like, it was, I rally against the like super popular stuff. So it was just that everyone had it.
Yeah.
And then you ended up, when I listened to Passenger, I'll skip Lust for Life because it just had it too many times and it was just a bit too.
But as a soundtrack, though,
But
it really
did
puts you in the
it
time,
transcended
didn't
the
it?
sort of because not many film soundtracks people would go out and buy.
Exactly.
But this one was a real massive one.
And it really helped set the scene of Lust for
So
Life,
Born Slippy, Underworld,
okay.
and Lust for Life.
Mile
Yeah,
End, Pulp, the
Yeah,
tune.
sure.
Oh, it's got some left field on it as well.
Ooh,
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that one's in. Top Gun.
Is it?
Okay, Top Gun. Okay,
No,
which-
because this is what. Well, okay, but this is one of the ones that I'm referring to as like being a bit of a one hit because you just had that silly bitch singing whatever it was.
Take my breath
Yeah.
away.
You don't know that. It was actually a bit like Soggy Bottom Boys. So
Oh
I
my
heard
God.
that. I heard that Michael Bay when he wrote Top Gun.
Yeah.
Are you
he
amped
spent
for the
quite-
sequel?
He spent quite a lot of time thinking about the soundtrack and how he could put explosions and
Yeah.
motorbikes. And I don't
I've got to
think
level with
he's
you. I've never
against
seen
that
Top Gun.
soundtrack.
Oh
Well,
wow!
no, I watched the first 20 minutes. I turned it off because it was utter shite.
So
I
not
sort of
not
wasted
only
my time.
not
Did you not
only
make
does
it-
it have Take My Breath Away, you also have Tom Cruise playing
Well, it's nearly here.
something on the piano. So I'm not going to tell you what it is,
Because you don't know.
so I can't remember. But also, just to give you a bit of suspense when you actually watch it.
I'm not going to.
There's a volleyball scene in it that you'd
Yeah,
really
I know,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, you would like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no. I don't know. Meeg introduced the concept of vetoes last week, so I'm going to veto Top Gun.
Well, let's find out. We might not get full better.
I've got some more.
Okay, well, good.
Tron Legacy. Now I know that you
Yeah.
really liked the scene with Olivia Wilde
It's
on the
just a still,
sofa,
really.
but the soundtrack is absolutely bona fide. Daft Punk,
I know it is. There's one particular track. that-
Recognizer,
No. Fuck, I can't think
Son
of
of
it.
Flynn.
No, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one they play.
Oh,
when-
D-Rest.
Yeah, D-Res.
D-Rest.
And my daughter fucking loves it. And
Yeah.
when we're in the car, she asks for us to crank it, and it is an absolute banger.
Your daughter has the best taste in music, much better
That's a
than
good
mine.
shout. I hadn't even thought of that.
D-Res, that's really, really good.
Veto.
Well,
On the basis of what though?
I think it
Bit
might.
of it.
I think even without a veto, I think it might get bumped because there's some other good
There's
stuff.
loads of really good ones we haven't even mentioned yet.
Purple Rain,
Yeah, of course.
What do you mean Purple Rain? It's
Prince.
a song, not a film.
right? Well, I don't know where to go with that.
Yeah.
because it is a film.
It's
It
a film.
absolutely is a film.
It's a film called Purple Rain.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
yeah.
What
I think it
happens
is dreadful, but
Yeah, the film is.
So I
But it has When Doves Cry on
exactly, which is a
It's
fucking
like-
10 out of 10,
one of the greatest Prince songs.
and obviously Purple Rain.
Yeah.
And,
Purple Rain.
and When Doves Cry is a brilliant line by Milhouse.
I think
in
to
the-
make-
in The Simpsons.
I think to make it in this list, you should.
You should have heard of it before tonight.
Well, I just think you should be a decent film as well as a
Okay, Good Will Hunting.
Well, what songs from that?
Well, it's all Elliott Smith.
Oh,
Who's
I
Elliott
do.
Smith?
Oh, you'd like it.
You'd really like him. He's a brilliant singer-songwriter. Killed himself in
Yeah.
a fucking really awful way.
Yes, absolutely
Stabbed
horrendous.
himself to
Yeah.
death. I think he put a knife against his chest and then
Something
fell
a little
into the wall.
like something out
to
of
stab himself
Hellboy.
through the heart. It's fucking awful. But his music
You
is
would really
incredible.
like it.
And the soundtrack perfectly works in the film. He had an original song written for the closing scene, which was nominated for an Oscar and fucking lost out to
Go on.
Celine Dion.
Oh, Heart Will Go On. or whatever.
Sadly, which ironically was how he killed himself.
Put films in
And
of that
that,
ilk.
so that was for me. That was the first time I'd heard his music, and that was a sort of launchpad into listening to all of his stuff,
Which is
And
just
it's
brilliant.
It's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So for me, that is an absolute nailed on set.
So if you're going to sort of talk about films in that ilk, where I suppose singer-songwriters have written a soundtrack, you've got Eddie Vedder doing Into the Wild.
Okay.
Do you
I
remember
did
that?
like that film.
Yeah, I did as well.
So the film was
They all
pretty-
died at the end.
Yeah. Well, he died at the
That's
end.
all one of them, yeah.
Good
so-
weight loss.
Yeah.
So that was a reasonably intense film, and the soundtrack.
I don't remember the
was brilliant.
soundtrack
I was about to say
specifically.
exactly that. I can't
I love it.
particularly remember the
Some
soundtrack, but
amazing songs on that soundtrack. Please revisit.
Oh, man, even while we're talking, I'm thinking of loads of them because Danny Boyle always has 127 Hours is a really good soundtrack, and it's got Sigur Rós at the point where he actually, the moment where he actually cuts through his arm, breaks into, I can't even pronounce the name.
Go on,
of
I'll
the
give you a
song.
best Icelandic.
But it's just this unbelievable moment of tension resolving around this amazing tune, and we actually played. Did we play that one at our wedding? We played the one off the same album. Off.
is it the one with the
Mr. and
space
Mrs.
alien on the
Riggs.
cover?
No, it's the
Okay.
one with it's the Hufufle. It's like blue with wavy stuff on it. It's brilliant
okay.
as well. But yeah, then Slumdog Millionaire actually had a really good soundtrack, as did Millions. So all Danny Boyle's films have really good soundtracks,
J-Ho.
actually.
So do Tarantino films.
Yeah, well, I've got Pulp Fiction down
Yeah,
here.
got Pulp Fiction.
That was another one.
What
that-
songs were good in Pulp Fiction?
Well, yeah, Jovical was the one
Yeah,
that kind of made them famous, and then there was
You Never Can Tell, Chuck
Reservoir
Berry.
Dogs. Yeah, I could admit actually, the other thing that was quite cool about the Pulp Fiction and the Reservoir Dogs one is you always had that little radio
Yeah.
intro skit stuff
Yeah.
in between it.
Well,
It wasn't
Tarantino
anywhere in
is
the film.
nearly as much of a music nerd as he is a film
well,
nerd.
yeah. You say that, and I always thought that, but then he was on Gonzo on MTV, whatever it was,
Yeah,
with that Kiwi fella.
Zane Lowe.
Yeah. And he had him on, and he was saying, "Oh, you know, your films are always really great. You know, your soundtracks are always really great." And then had, you know, what you just listen to stuff and you think, "Oh, that'd be good." And he's, yeah. And saying, "So what are you sort of into now?" And he goes, "Oh, I really like Maroon 5." And you're like,
Oh, no.
someone else is picking all this music, and it's fucking nothing to do with you."
Wow.
So that, and I was a bit like, "Oh man, that's disappointing."
Well, maybe he was trolling.
I
I'm
don't
going to
think
believe
so.
he was trolling.
He just sort of gave himself away as like there's some, and he also did that really cynical thing with fucking what they called Fun Loving Criminals, where they sampled him and he sued them and made them give
Scooby Snacks.
a co-write credit when he had fuck all to do with it other than
The film that it was cribbing and sample
So,
from.
and I'm like, well, because people go, oh, he co-wrote that song. I'm like, no, he didn't. He just fucking lawyers got involved.
Yeah.
Back to the Future, too?
Okay. What?
2 over 1.
Yeah. No, one, maybe.
Well, what songs are you thinking of?
Power of Brown Love.
Power of Love, yep.
That was
Yes.
number one.
So you had Huey Lewis. That was Huey Lewis in the news.
Huey Lewis
and they were in the film.
They were
as
in the
well.
film, yeah. They were one
were
of the bands that gets.
No, they were like the music teachers judging the audition.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And he's like next on the big megaphone. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So that was a nice time.
And then you get the Johnny Be Good at the end.
Yep.
Michael J. Fox actually playing it.
Was he actually playing it?
Actually playing it.
Yeah.
I feel like you're making that up on the
Was
spot
it Martin
now.
McFly actually playing it?
Yeah.
Pretend. What about
I'm walking here.
what about Guardians of the Galaxy? Because the whole film was built around. The
Yeah,
soundtrack
it's a good
concept.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's a good soundtrack.
Yep, I'll put Guardians of the Galaxy in.
I've got This Is Spinal Tap, but
So have I.
I'm taking it out. I'm suggesting it, but I'm taking it out because the official soundtrack I found today when doing some research doesn't have Lick My Love Pump on it.
No, but it does have Tonight We're Going to Rock You Tonight.
Yeah, Stonehenge.
So earlier on, I was up at the cemetery, and there's a grave just across the way, and it's got the like mini Stonehenge thing on it.
Brilliant.
And I was like, that's fucking.
That's a
Spinal
sign.
Tap.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's got to go in.
So it has to be Spinal Tap. Okay,
And the
then.
cover of the official soundtrack album is the cover that they show you in the film of the fictional album Smell the Glove.
Shark sandwich.
Yeah. More like shit sandwich.
Can't say that.
So do you think, is it Spinal Tap that's brought your love of Steel Panther? Or started your love
Yeah.
of Steel Panther?
It certainly informed it, yeah.
So some other really cool stuff. So there was ones I want to mention because I actually went out and got them, which must have meant I liked them. So Swingers, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
I had that on lots of different formats because I went out and bought different collectible things of it. So I had it on vinyl. I had it on this box set thing that came with sheets from the hotel that the film was set in.
All right.
And it had like the other little mints they put on the pillow and stuff. So that's in a box somewhere.
Did you ever do the Gordon Ramsay, like,
Or the Homer
ultraviolet
where he goes
light?
sleep.
So how about,
So if you've got the
when you're
stains.
talking about soundtracks,
Well, I wanted
then-
to make some more points about Lost in Translation, seeing it's one of my favourite films.
Well, it's related.
Okay.
So it made me think of Sing. So
How is that related?
the ScarJo's in it,
Oh, okay.
and
okay, I'm
she
with you.
sings.
Yeah.
So she is the hedgehog in Sing
Is she?
that plays the guitar, and she's got an amazing voice. She rocks it.
Taron Egerton sings
Taron Egerton's the
an Elton
gorilla.
John song in that, and then
Yeah.
went on to play Elton John
Maybe
in
that was his
Rocket Man.
calling card, yeah.
Indeed, and there's some amazing quality tunes in that.
In Sing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are. It's a good soundtrack. Go on,
And
Side.
Reese
You're champing at the bit.
Lost in Translation features a lot of My Bloody Valentine.
Yes.
So, well, not a lot, but a couple of songs. But it also features new original music from Kevin Shields, who hadn't done anything since like 91 when Loveless came out by My Bloody Valentine. And so that was his first new music,
Yeah.
original recording. It was brilliant.
I've never heard of these people.
Well,
They were
you
great. They're pretty great.
should go and listen to some of this stuff.
Yeah,
might do.
Search and Destroy.
Air were on it, as were Square Pusher.
On what?
Lost in Translation soundtrack. I listened to it today in preparation for this. Yeah.
I
And
just
Just Like
thought it was-
Honey by the Jesus and Mary Chain.
Yeah,
was
and
a
Phoenix.
Tune.
I think it was clear. I just don't think it makes it into the top 5 though. It's
Okay.
not like a film that's renowned for its soundtrack, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what
no,
about-
it totally
what about-
is actually because it won loads of awards and stuff.
For its
Okay, well, what
soundtrack.
about this? These are, I mean, emphatically known for the soundtrack. A Hard Day's Night or Help by the Beatles.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Star Wars.
You're just going to brush over the Beatles like that.
Beatles are good.
Thanks.
And those are two top quality, funny films with really good soundtracks.
Okay, let's put them in.
Well, that takes up to 6. I also wanted to mention Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Yeah.
Because the score's done by Devo, who I love, and it's got Scott Walker on it, which is fucking brilliant.
American Graffiti,
Yeah.
Goodfellas,
Yeah, I've got Goodfellas. Boogie Nights.
Friday. So that's got Friday, obviously, by Ice Cube. Keep Their Heads Ringing, Dr. Dre. Two Live Crew. That's a great soundtrack, Friday soundtrack.
On, what about next Friday?
I have seen it, and I remember Tiny Lister.
Snoop.
And
Okay.
the last one that, and I guarantee this isn't on your list. I'm almost
Snoop
certain.
Dogg G.
Rocky 4, Hearts on Fire, Burning Heart, Eye of the Tiger, Living in America, No Easy Way Out. These are all amazing tunes.
Is that Eye of the Tiger only Rocky 4?
I think probably in all of
it
them.
was on all of them,
The
but
Passenger.
Burning Heart.
Who did Eye of the Tiger?
It'll come to me. Hang on. No, it won't.
I didn't have anything else. Oh, no, I did. Sorry. I had High Fidelity.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't got that, but yes, that was a great sound.
Really, really good. And also The Graduate was massively famous. Yeah, Mrs. Robinson. Love a bit of Simon Garfunkel.
Yep.
So now I'm thinking...
Oh, and one more, just because I've got Man of Steel. I know the popular one is The Dark Knight Rises of Hans Zimmer's sort of DC stuff, but Man of Steel, I love it. It's got this non-stop thunderous drumming all the way through it, and there's two tunes right at the end called Flight and What Are You Doing When You're Not Saving the World that are just like, you know, hair on the back of your ass stuff. So
if we go Friday, this is Spinal Tap. Tron Legacy.
yeah.
No.
No? Frozen.
Yeah, I'd put maybe Lost in Translation over Tron Legacy.
You've not even heard it. The Eyes.
Yeah, the eyes.
I'm happy for it to go in. So
I'd rather have Tron Legacy.
I'm just thinking that we cover off all the genres.
Yeah.
Right, so Friday, that's got us some hip hop. Yeah. This is Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
We can rock out. Lost in Translation.
Okay. It is really good. I know, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yes.
But we've talked about some really good soundtracks here.
Plenty of food for thought for our listeners.
And I'll bet there's lots we've missed.
Well, of course, we've talked about probably 30 films. I think
Yeah.
there's more than 30 films. Let's talk about our main feature, Riggs. It was your nomination.
Yep.
What did you go for?
Well, we've had quite a lot of genre fare recently, so I wanted to bring us back to something slightly different and absolutely the epitome of a film that I missed that I really desperately wanted to see when I was too busy raising children, because this was released about the same time as
And
the
Meeg was
birth
super
of my...
excited too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the same time as the birth of my youngest. And I missed this film. I really wanted to see it. The film was La La Land. So La La Land is the story of two aspiring artists, jazz musician
Yeah.
Seb
Sebastian, yeah.
and
Mia.
actress Mia,
Yeah.
played by Emma Stone. And their story, well, I mean, to delve, there's not...
I mean, it's quite a simple story.
It is a simple story.
in
It seems like a romance, but it doesn't play out potentially the way that you might expect, and it's a fucking great movie. I really
you cry?
love this. It got me in the feels, man. The ending, that bittersweet ending. Yeah, but the music was top quality in this. You're laughing already, Meeg. What's
It's just getting into full troll mode.
Yeah, what are you doing?
So
over
you
there?
watched it because I forced you to watch it. I bribed you with Sunday lunch, and you came around and we watched it.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought it was one of the best films I've ever seen.
Look at him. Go on. Why was it one
What
of
was
the
your
best
favorite?
films?
What was your favorite moment in it?
What I really liked is just bang from the start. There was colour.
There was lots of colour. It
Lots
was great.
of colour, yeah.
There was just, it was like a Jose Gonzalez sort of. You know, do you remember that?
I do.
I think
know
it was
what
an
you're talking about.
advert. It was an
With
advert,
the
and
balls.
they just threw all the
Oh, yeah,
all the
yeah.
bouncing balls everywhere down the street, and you got
Yeah.
it was that kind of colour level.
I was trying to work out if there was some
Explosion.
symbolism attached to the different colours that were being used,
I
but I couldn't really.
didn't pick up on anything.
And there was dancing. They were just dancing on top of their cars and around their cars, and they were all
Yeah, so that's a
and they were all
famous bit of road.
so
Do you know that?
Happy.
Yes.
It was just
that
phenomenal.
that ramp, that on ramp or off ramp, whichever one it was, is the same ramp that the bus had to jump across in speed.
In speed,
Do you
yeah.
know what? That just makes it all so much better,
It's
doesn't
good,
it?
isn't
It just adds extra dimension.
So it's got a lot
to
of
the
range,
film.
that road.
Yeah.
You're saying positive things, but all I can feel is I can feel the troll coming, and I don't know.
There's no trial. It was really, really good from bang on. It just started. I was hooked. The songs were just
go
phenomenal.
See if I can
that's
call
a-
up some of your messages.
The songs,
So
the
while
songs are
you're-
just top drawer, weren't they? Really. I mean, that first one.
Another Day in the Sun. Dun, dun, dun,
Is that
dun,
what it's
dun,
called,
dun,
is
dun,
it?
dun, 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 dun,
It just makes you want to dance.
So this was Damien Chazelle, writer of the two music-themed thrillers Grand Piano and, of course,
Can we
the
just revert?
thrilling movie
Because I just want to clarify
Whiplash.
something. I noted that we watched the film, and on that particular day that we all watched it, it was Damien Chazelle's birthday.
Wow, serendipity.
Yeah. And me came back with, what a C, what was he thinking? So I'm not sure that you were super into it.
So this was the homage to the 40s and 50s musicals, lots of nods to things like Casablanca and...
Yeah, they outright mentioned it, didn't they?
yes,
So he'd written
Singing
this,
in the Rain.
He had written this before Whiplash.
He had, yeah.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get this made desperately.
So he'd
He-
written this
he-
before 1940 and thought, I'll wait until this made.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
about
he-
110.
He's 110 years old, yeah.
It was really good.
So he is a musician. In fact, he's a drummer, isn't he? Which is where the sort of Whiplash connection
Yes,
comes from.
but he always knew he didn't have the talent
Yeah,
to make
so
it.
he
as a
has an affinity with musical sort of film. Have you seen Whiplash?
No.
So he's made. I think he's only made the two films.
drummer. He's made 3 films: Guy and Madeline on a Park Bench or something is the other one, and then there's Grand Piano, La La Land, and Whiplash.
Yeah, so musical theme
Yeah.
very heavy in his.
Where his movies are always about the.
I just love the way they were both there on the,
They were both there.
they were both there on the road after the dance, and they just happened to still be in their cars, and then they went off on their separate little ways. And
They weren't actually in the opening dance.
I know,
They were on
but
the
they
road,
were
though.
there.
They were
there,
there.
right?
Yeah.
But they
I mean,
didn't know
so
it was
the
nice.
opening number foreshadows what happens in the rest of the film, right? Because literally the opening moments
way.
of the
So there's like extra freaking dimensions,
opening
of
lyrics,
depths to the whole thing.
Yeah, talk
Go on.
about how she left her boyfriend to come and follow her dream. That's literally the first opening
like
lines
Frozen.
of the thing. Well, just like what happens in the end of the film.
Or Frozen. So like in Frozen,
Yeah,
the first song just tells the entire rest of the story.
the one about the ice,
Yeah.
the frozen
Both
heart.
in Frozen and in Frozen 2. So if you actually listen to the lyrics, it really just
We're not here to
flat
talk
out
about
tells
Frozen.
the whole story. I'm
Okay.
just saying I love that concept. It's it's depth.
Yeah.
It's,
So they had a couple of meetings before they really connected,
Yes,
and I know watching it with the missus, her favourite scene was the pool party where they finally got to actually talk to each other.
yeah.
Where he's in the 80s cover band.
Where they make him play I
Play
Ran.
an absolute bang. I fucking love that song.
It's a good song,
great.
yeah.
And he looks so out of place and not at all happy with his, because he's a serious musician. He considers himself to be an artist.
Yeah.
And he's having to churn out all this.
I
what he
did
considers
worry
beneath him.
when they painted him as this sort of jazz aficionado. Now, I quite like jazz, but there's something undeniably wanky about
It's
people
soft,
who.
It's soft J, isn't it? Yaz.
You obviously
Yes.
clearly haven't heard jazz though, have you?
No one's ever really heard jazz.
No,
Well,
you've listened to it, but
feel
you
it.
haven't heard it. Yeah, I worried that he would be
I'm
this
worried you didn't really
hipster,
understand this film properly.
this sort of ridiculous hipster character.
No, he wasn't.
But he wasn't,
He was
and
just true to
his
the music. He
passion
was just
for
passionate
his
about
music.
Yeah.
Really,
That really came through. I thought the performance was great because when he actually takes that, you can see he was so fucking animated about it. And he's
Yeah.
like, it's visceral, it's new, it's compromised, it's new, it's always new.
Yeah.
And he really got the impression that he was super into it.
A bit
Yeah.
like you lost in translation.
Yeah, I am super into that.
So there's an amazing scene where they're sort of jousting backwards and forwards about whether or not they're going to date each other. That's set in this kind of. It looks like Hollywood. It's filmed on location in the. I can't remember the name of that street, but it's really famous. The top of the Hollywood Hills, but it looks like a painted matte backdrop as well because of the amazing cinematography from Linus Sandgren.
Sandgren, yeah.
Yeah, who it really just.
What a legend.
Yeah.
Linus.
He got the Oscar.
Oh,
He did, thank
bloody
God.
deserved it as well.
No, it was great. The camera, I actually noted the way the camera moved and the direction of this
Yes.
was bang on, and it was very intimate when people were talking.
Yep.
But it would sweep away because it had to for like dance routines or whatever it was. But it did feel like you're always an observer of a film, but you felt like you were actually there.
You felt you were with the people, but then when the
You were
camera
part of the
steps
conversation.
back and you
Yeah.
get the sort of almost fantasy type elements of things come in, the camera
Yeah.
moves in that. It's great. So both Chazelle's main films, La La Land and Whiplash, they're concerned with what single-minded creative ambition does to your capacity to succeed and what that also does to your romantic ties. And this film, especially in the second half, really goes into that to show the sacrifices that artists sometimes have to make in order to stay true to their artistic vision.
Yeah, so they kind of recognised it, didn't they, the characters? Because they had their falling out and they had
Yeah.
their fight, and then they took a step back and reconnected, but ultimately realised that if either of them were going to be successful, they wouldn't be able to sustain a relationship.
Yeah.
She was going off to Paris, wasn't she, for 7 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was going to have to basically either tour or be working all night because that's what jazz clubs do.
He wanted to run a jazz club,
Yeah.
didn't he? And he did actually have to compromise slightly his artistic vision to go.
Yeah,
and be
he
part
did
of
because
John
he
Legend's band.
overheard, didn't he? He overheard the conversation with Mia and her mother.
Yeah.
And he thought that he was doing the best thing by taking the steady sort of income,
Yeah.
as opposed to the kind of more, I don't know, haphazard earnings of a jazz musician.
Well, he wasn't earning anything really.
Yeah,
As
so
staying true to his
figured
artistic
that
vision.
if he was going to, be successful in the relationship sense, he would have to compromise and still play music, but do it more of a career,
Yeah.
as opposed to a passion. And then that was what caused her to question his motives in terms of she accused him of giving up on his dreams.
Yes.
And he wanted to say, well, I'm only doing it for you. He never explicitly said
He never explicitly says it.
Instead, he more sort of lashed out, didn't he? He said, well, you only like me when I'm unsuccessful because you feel better about yourself.
What a horrible thing to say.
But he was just lashing out, and he didn't, I thought the performances were really, really good.
Yeah, this film
And
works
it was great because it wasn't going to be them either. It was going to be
Miles Teller
Miles Teller
and
and that
Elizabeth.
horrible
Not Elizabeth.
I agree. I think
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson.
But she fucked off to do Beauty and the Beast, which was wank, and Miles Teller, they couldn't get the contract done.
I think Harry Kane was very good, except he kind of like when he was singing, you could tell that it wasn't that natural for him.
No. I don't think he's a particularly natural singer or dancer, but
That's what
he
made it
has
great.
charisma and star power, and so does she.
You're talking about Gosling?
Yeah,
So the scene where they dance on the road,
it's brilliant.
I thought it was great, and what I really liked about it was they weren't perfect dancers,
No.
like that, and that's what made it more believable.
Yep.
Because it just felt like two people who were enjoying each other's company and expressing themselves, and it was great.
But they're really watchable as well. There's something about both of them, and especially together. This was their third collaboration. As I can't remember their other two movies. But
Have you ever found yourself sort of syncing up dancing with the missus?
What?
Walking down the road?
Actually doing it, or
Yeah, clicking up your heels.
not really?
putting your spats on, doing a little bit of no.
I did like the wardrobe, and I thought I could smarten up a bit, wear a few 3-piece suits, stuff like that.
Yeah, he had those sort of two-tone brown and
I was
grey.
going to say as well that Emma Stone, or Mia rather, the character, she actually made the point in the film that she wasn't there were other girls going into auditions who were better looking than her and better than her. And I think it's hard to say this without
I know
derogatory. There are probably actresses that could have been cast in her role that wouldn't have been right for it because they would have been a bit better looking, if that makes any sense. She was a bit more, I don't want to say plain Jane, but she's a bit more girl next door, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if
Like Kevin from Up.
so if you cast, say,
good
like, I
word.
don't know, I'm just thinking like a blonde, like Cameron Diaz or whatever, it wouldn't have been believable.
Or Margot Robbie, or something like some
exactly.
absolute like bombshell. Yeah, it wouldn't be. You're right. She also shows off her absolutely crisp acting chops. That scene where she's doing the audition, and she's like crying. It's really moving, and then
just gets interrupted.
She gets completely interrupted. Yeah.
I know it was very good. I think yeah.
So a lot of my mates, or just fellas in general, would probably just say, or at the time, that they would
Fuck
not
that.
watch this. This is bollocks. This is chick flick. They're not going to see it. I think they need to. Well, there's just a lot of people who just won't watch it.
And I
for
think
that reason,
you
and they're
would
missing
miss out.
Yeah.
Because this is a great story, great performances, great songs, and that it's got this bittersweet ending where they both achieve their
The
dreams.
storytelling's just phenomenal, isn't it?
They
really?
both achieve their dreams,
The journeys that they
but
go
at the
on.
cost of their love together. And then you get this sort of 5-minute sample of.
Yeah, do you think that was
what-
both of them thinking about what could have been, or was it just him?
I think it's how the story played out in a different reality, in essence. And that's not what
I
happened.
didn't like I Knew Fella. I felt like he's fucking.
He was just bland, nothing.
He was meant to be, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Part of the story.
But she was happy, he was happy, but they were both still in love
She
to a
had a
certain
great
degree.
strut when she went back into the coffee shop. Which is like, I'm the fucking kid now.
Yeah.
Like that. This was nominated as a record. This was record Oscar nominations, joint 14 nominations, but only took home 6.
Yeah. So it took home
Ryan Gosling didn't.
Best Director, Best Actress for Emma Stone, Best Cinematography, Best Score, Best Song, and Best Production Design.
I mean, I like the song so much that I actually decided to try and learn some on the piano.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that I could sing for you.
Okay.
All right.
This is me humming. So I thought I'd maybe just put a quick song to it.
This
City of
is
Lights
actually
really
you,
good.
is it?
Yeah, this is Kerry. Yeah. And then I think I'm going to try singing in a minute.
And how have you made your
Is it
piano
giving you
sound
backup?
like a guitar?
Yeah, I know. Made my piano sound like guitar. It's phenomenal, isn't it?
That is amazing.
Here we go.
Well, that was really something.
Thank you.
So
Do you
Damien
remember-
Chazelle is the youngest person to ever win Best Director at the
Okay.
Oscars. He was only 34.
It won for 2 whole minutes. It was the best film
Yes, yeah.
of the year as well.
Yeah, when Warren Beatty and...
Well, it was the card.
was
The card. No, but it was the same card as the best actress.
Yeah,
So it said Emma Stone, La La Land. So Faye Dunaway read out, "Oh, La La Land,"
yeah,
and then there must have been people backstage going, "Oh fuck."
yeah, because it was actually Moonlight that won
no,
Best
I've
Picture.
not seen that either.
No, that's another one that might go on the Bad Dads. So yeah, this film was great, and it got stuck in my head, and I loved it, and I loved everything about it. And the more I think about it, the better it is. And I've listened to the soundtrack at work and annoyed everybody by singing dun 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 all the time.
Budget 30 million quid.
It must
Sorry,
have
$30 million.
made an absolute packet.
$446 million dues.
Yeah,
A lot.
that's a few, isn't it?
And then metrics.
Yeah,
Is
it's gonna be off the chart, isn't it?
IMDb 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Nothing really gets more than that on IMDb, I don't think. If you look
Okay.
at their top ever, I think they're like maybe get a couple of nines. Rotten Tomatoes 91%, Metacritic 93%.
Come on, Google.
Google users, this is the first, 85%.
The lowest.
It's never been below Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic before.
Wow. So Google, definitively proving that Google
So I think
people have no taste.
What we can determine from that is that blokes use Google more.
Maybe. Yes, maybe. What do you use, Meeg?
Met Cricket.
Metacritic.
Double G. I don't know those ones.
All right, I'm just going to ask it. Are you not entertained?
Honestly, why the fuck would you watch that thing? It was awful.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, no, I didn't enjoy it at all. I found it actually quite painful to watch.
Your missus told you off quite a few times.
For falling asleep the
Yeah,
whole way
like
through.
concentrate. Will you concentrate?
Yeah, it's just like Gus songs. They honestly didn't resonate.
Nothing
The
spoke to you.
story you genuinely could have like just predicted a mile off. And
I
it
don't
was a bit
think
of
you
a-
could, though.
It was a bit of a sad ending, really. Yeah.
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet.
John Lennon was just a random addition as well,
Okay.
or legend, whatever he was.
John Legend, yeah. Well, it wasn't a random addition. Why was he a random
Yeah,
addition?
John
Lennon.
Just a random cameo, isn't it? It's like
No, because he was
just going to throw in a bit of
he was meant to be anti-
John Legend.
He was the anti-jazz, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did he write any of the songs?
He was
Probably
like, he was
that.
like Hot Wee Wee Jefferson. Riggs, were you not entertained?
I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, me too. Okay, kids TV. The fucking shame. Riggs, what did you submit us to?
Well, I made us watch, on the recommendation of my youngest,
Did they
Blippi.
watch this?
She loves it.
So
Absolutely.
you have to watch this regularly.
I have only watched it once properly, and that was on Saturday night
Right,
with
what's
my
it?
missus when the kids were in bed.
Yeah, I watched this when my daughter was in bed because I did not want it to be something that she might want to watch.
Well, there's no chance of that, I don't think. So it was Blippi. My youngest absolutely loves it. I think that's where it's pitched at, sort of 2 to 4 year olds.
It says 2 to 6 year olds on
Okay.
Prime when I looked at it.
I think 6 is way too old.
Yeah,
Can
way
you,
too
can
old.
you tell me a little bit more about
Have you seen it?
what do you think?
No.
Correct.
Well done. 'Cause this is
So
fucking
Blippi is a YouTube star who, I'm not going to tell you who it is because we're going to do a quiz in a minute. I've got a little quiz for you guys. But Blippi is basically educational videos.
It's not
This
educational.
guy who wears orange glasses and walks in a ridiculous way and tells you about things like how fire trucks work or how
That's
to
useful.
clean a car.
Useful.
That's the episode we
shapes,
watched. So the
colours.
episode we watched was how to clean a car.
So
He didn't even do the fucking windows.
So it was 9 minutes.
so are they enabling the kids to clean the car, or are they just sort of trying
Well,
to
the
teach
first
parents
thing he does is chuck a load of flour and ketchup and mustard at the car, which I thought
And hot sauce.
that's probably not a good idea to show that to kids.
He did say at the end, don't do.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
The creepiest thing about Blippi, of which there are quite a few things that I'll tell you about, but the creepiest thing is that when I asked my youngest what she liked about it, she said, Blippi talks to me. He tells me to keep watching my Kindle, which absolutely terrified me and the missus. But we realised it's because he does kind of engage with, he says to the people, "Oh, keep watching, guys. I'm going to do this, that, and the other." In this case, cleaning a car. And I mean, it's not a lot to say about the show. He did just get a car kind of. Well, it was fairly
Well, it
clean
was
to
a
begin
fucking
with.
shit job of cleaning it. To be fair, you could still see
So
mustard
can-
on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Can
You
you tell
could.
me? Can you tell me a little bit about? Is he like a happy chap?
Yeah, it's one of these.
No, he's
it's
suicidal.
One of these offensively, like, just so chirpy and happy, and he walks funny, and he's got a stupid voice, and.
But this is for 2 to 4 year olds. I mean,
Yeah,
what
I
are you
don't care.
expecting?
Like,
He's not
well,
going
something
to.
better.
Has he basically just missed a tumble for the next?
A little
generation?
A bit, yeah.
It's one of those where you watch it and you think, I bet he cries every night. This is what he does for a living. Like, there's no way you could have friends
He
because
goes
everyone
home
would be
and
like,
goes, I am such
imagine
a
if one of
cunt."
us started doing this for a living, like, they're out. I'm not talking to that fucking weirdo anymore.
So
I hate him. I've never seen him.
in this episode, Blippi takes the
Can we not call it an episode? It's
cleanest
just fucking
car I have ever seen.
It's a big red truck.
Big red truck thing that's so sparkling clean. It's like
No, he had some pretend mud on one of the fenders.
but it is ridiculously
Yeah.
clean, and then he takes it to a car wash. He gives it the full
He can't
power
use it.
wash
He can't
thing,
use it.
but
Yeah,
only
really.
half of it, one side.
And
of
he
it.
doesn't fucking do up the windows either at the back.
No, what was that about?
Yeah.
So these aren't things that the kids can actually do themselves.
Well, kind of.
not-
But
like,
I would
if
have
it's
said,
education, the fact
right,
that-
we're washing the car. First thing we're going to do is do the fucking windows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, recently I did ask my youngest to paint a shed, but but it's, showing them the world, and there's a bit of counting in episodes and color recognition and shapes and stuff. I mean, there's not a lot to say about it. But I thought some of the things that I found out when I was researching the background to Blippi.
Where's he from? Is that a question you've got? Because I couldn't work out if he was a
And
Brit.
why is he called Blippi?
Because this was all paid in dollars at the car wash.
Yes, it is American.
So he is a Yank.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, when you said why is he called Blippi, so actually this guy is a bit of a
Pedo.
amazing at branding. He went through 800 different name variations, placing together random sounds with a careful mixture of consonants and vowels. He knew that children speak from the front of their mouths first, so he spent days pronouncing strange word combinations over and over again, and then doing bulk domain searches to make sure that. So he did loads of research before he came up with Blippi. Let's delve into Blippi a bit more, because I think some of the things I'm going to bring up in the quiz are going to be interesting talking points.
Okay, better
Okay.
be. There's not much going
So
for
this is
far.
the Blippi quiz. It's multiple choice. Blippi is the orange glasses wearing, silly walking man-child alter ego of A, 30-year-old former US Air Force serviceman Stephen John, 30-year-old San Franciscan lifeguard attendant Marco Polo, or 28-year-old Canadian postdoctorate student Dennis Weaver.
Go for the weave.
Marco Polo.
It is actually 30-year-old former US Air Force serviceman Stephen
it.
John.
Well done,
Well,
Steve.
he's got two first names, so he's an idiot.
Blippi is, of course, the prolific self-starting children's personality and
Yeah.
YouTube sensation Stephen John, former US Air Force serviceman. But just how popular is Blippi?
This is gonna be
Blippi has
so disappointing.
more than 1.9 million YouTube subscribers, approximately 5 million monthly views, and almost 4.5 million total views worldwide.
More than
B,
that,
more than 10.9 million YouTube subscribers, approximately 50 million in monthly views, and almost 450 million total views worldwide. Or C, more than 19 million YouTube subscribers, approximately 500 million monthly views, and almost 4.5 billion total views worldwide.
I
B.
hope not. I would
B.
say B.
It's C. He has
Get
more than
up.
4.5 billion total views worldwide, all contributing to Blippi's total estimated net worth in excess of $20 million,
Fuck off.
generating over $50,000 per day from advertising revenue on YouTube alone.
what a
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
shocker.
yeah. And it's budget stuff, right? I mean, this
Must
is
cost
like a
like
guy...
20 quid to make one of those episodes.
Exactly.
Meeg, honestly, it's fucking awful.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. So, Blippi may seem wholesome, but he began life as something much, much worse. Prior to becoming Blippi, John was A.
Pedo.
Abstract modern artist Ralph Rugoff, who once sold a sculpture titled Marriage for over $500,000, which was an installation of two urinals with interlinked pipes meant to satirize how Western societies continue to treat homosexuality as something dirty, secretive, and illicit, despite the
It's always
introduction
the
of gay
longest
marriage to
answer.
many Western countries. B. Gross out viral video star Steezy Grossman, who once filmed himself standing sideways on top of a toilet seat, fully nude, except for a bicycle helmet and sunglasses, taking a shit on his friend, who is also fully nude except for goggles and a swimming cap.
Now officially the longest
C.
answer.
An e-gaming star nicknamed Christophersaurus Rex, who was once retroactively disqualified from a major League of Legends tournament when it became clear he'd staked $100 on himself to lose, returning a frankly paltry $322.
A.
C.
It's actually B. Viral video star Steezy Grossman. This is true. He filmed himself taking a shit completely nude on his mate.
Have you got it?
There is a link. We can find it. Seriously, I can find it. So this is where it's quite crazy.
Yeah.
And then final question.
What about that YouTube related content, and you sort of flow through the sidebar?
Yeah, no, he hasn't linked it on his Blippi
No.
channel. Last question. Blippi continues to attract controversy. His latest live show produced the following scandal. A. He was caught backstage in a tryst with several of his many Blippi groupies following a live show. B. He was filmed smoking... No, the mums.
Oh, right.
He was filmed smoking cannabis after a show in Colorado, one of the decriminalised states. Or C, upon announcing a national tour that ensured hassled parents flocked to purchase tickets and even paid extra for meet and greets, it turned out that the real Blippi wasn't going to be at all and an imposter was to take his place.
It's C.
A.
It's C. It is C. It was an imposter. But there is a load of Reddit groupies, mums out there who all think Blippi is like hot stuff and fantasize about doing things that you wouldn't film and put on YouTube.
It just creeps me out. I felt assaulted watching it. It was so creepy. The way he fucking walks at the camera.
Yeah.
It's
The
like
walking
Bob.
is ridiculous.
It's like Bob from Twin Peaks.
Yes.
It's awful.
I don't know. And the thing is,
Good quiz.
Thank you. I did think quite hard about some of the questions, actually.
We've both done a quiz, Meeg. You need to get a quiz for next week.
No, I did. Would you rather? Technically, a quiz.
You read that.
You read that off the internet. Yeah, it doesn't count. I think the thing that really bothers me is that it's like all of these children's presenter people. Like, where do they get their energy from? I think it's like the souls of orphans.
Well, what are the
or something
evenings like? That's what I think.
Yeah.
Job satisfaction and sitting, right, what did I do today? Fucking walk like a twat.
Yeah, but he counts his $20 million.
No, but he probably does it all in like a couple of days, doesn't he? So
He actually is reasonably interesting because when you look him up, he actually does quite a lot of work to make sure that his videos actually are doing some educational benefit, that they subscribe to the main teaching key stage stuff, but all that stuff's much more boring than the shitting on his mate.
Yeah. So are we going to do...
Okay, yeah. So, Sidey, let's start with you. Meeg, were you entertained by the thing you didn't watch?
yeah, I loved it.
Okay, Sidey?
No, fucking hell no. This is the worst yet.
Yeah, it's a solid no from me.
Okay.
I'm going to disown my child.
Don't blame me.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Come back next week. It's Meeg's choice, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're going to choose?
I don't.
No,
but
I'm surprised.
I can enjoy finding
But
something.
you choose well normally.
Yeah, you have chosen well, apart from Six Underground.
No, it was alright.
You loved Six Underground.
I
So
did.
Rush, 6 Underground, hit us up with something else.
And the kids thing, do you know what you're going to choose for that?
Nope.
No. And I know what the top 5 is that I'm going to push for. So thanks everyone for listening. Please do subscribe to our stuff, share, leave us reviews, all that sort of thing.
Talk to us.
And to hit us up on the old social medias. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.